So there are several benefits to productivity within the workforce for both the employee and for the employer. So that can begin with just being present at work. So a measurement known as presenteeism, which is I'm at the office and I'm engaged with my work, and also absenteeism. So if you can have an impact on people feeling well in the office and not being out of the office. But also benefits like acquisition and retention of good employees. So we all know it costs a lot to acquire a new employee, and much better to have the employees that you have stay retained and loyal to the organization. And so really having a health and wellness and productive workforce can have a broad range of responsibilities and an impact on the business overall. There's several studies that show correlations between having a health and wellness focused population and its impact on productivity, right? So if you think about all of those metrics have an opposite effect, right? So if you have an unengaged workforce or you have high employee turnover, there's cost to the business, there's impact on the bottom line of the business. And so it's really almost having the opposite effect of that, you've got folks who are maybe in the office, but they're not engaged with the work that we're doing, they're not motivated to do it. And so therefore they're not maybe interacting with their customers, whoever that might be, in a corporate business, in a hospital, in a healthcare setting, in a financial services world, in customer success or service. They're not able to engage in a way that has satisfied customers, and they're not satisfied employees, and that has ripple effect throughout the organization. I think that data is such a powerful tool, but data has to come with the ability to understand the data. So one, data hasn't been able to be measured and accessed, and you can't change what you can't measure, right? So first of all, you have to understand your baseline. And so just by getting a sense of the data, you're able to then impact change, you're able to look at trends over time. But it's not solely about the data. The data is really what is kind of what I would call the baseline, or the kind of need to have. And then really what you need to do is look at how that data applies to your business and to your culture, and apply the learnings of that data. And that's really a lot of what Fitbit is all about. So we try to take data and make it usable and make it manageable and make it very easy and fun to understand for both an individual and an employer, to be able to then understand and make decisions based on data. So it's really a powerful decision-making tool. In the absence of data and understanding of data, you really are at a loss at whether you're having an impact on the business and whether your trends are going in the right direction. I think the future there's a lot of potential for wearable tech within, and if you look at just what's happened in the last 6 or 7 years. So 6 or 7 years ago, there wasn't even a word for wearable technology. And here we are with sensors that can measure everything from steps and distance to activity to sleep to heart rate, and do that in a very seamless way throughout a user's life. And if you think about the applicability, reaching back to that productivity conversation, you can really see that those metrics can have a powerful impact on the bottom line of a business, on the engagement within the employee workforce, and then ultimately the success of the organization. So I can see that in the future we'll have more sensor technology development. We'll get smarter around we provide a lot of data, but data again needs guidance and inspiration both at the individual level and at the employer level. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity to look at wearable technology and wearable sensors as they might impact everything from safety to business outcomes to all of those other metrics we were discussing around employee engagement and retention. I have two answers. The first one is probably obvious, but we recommend Fitbit. But the second, and I think in all seriousness, really any program, whether it's a wearable technology program or a general health and wellness program or other initiative, there's a couple keys to success. And that is, executive support at a high level. So really getting executives engaged and bought into the mission because they're really setting the tone for the organization. There's tying it back to the business outcomes and to the overall organizational goals that in order for it to be successful. And then also just really engaged in a culture of health. And so really thinking thinking about how does this fit with my overall benefits package and with my company mission statement, and tying it back to the values and culture of the organization is what's going to drive behavioral change. So those are all a couple of things that I think tied together are a very powerful way to move an organization forward towards that culture of health.